Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the From Hobby to Full-Time podcast. This is a podcast for personal stylists who are ready to take their side hustle a lot more seriously. We are recording live from our closet podcast studio. If you have been following, then you know I recently moved and we are still settling in, getting the house set up. And so the only non-echoey space is in my closet. However, I'm very excited to be in a closet with clothes because previously, thanks to COVID, thanks to living in a very small studio, I really didn't have access to my clothes. I just couldn't get them. And then I just did not have the will to put on anything other than leggings. And as stylists, I know we have all encouraged our clients to not wear leggings. So my pro hack to that is to put on a jean jacket and put on some bright red lips and some statement earrings with your leggings on the bottom, and it will still look like an outfit. So that is not what we're talking about today. We are actually going to talk about healing modalities and the actual woo-woo practices that I do regularly. So as you know, if you are following along, I am a really big fan of self-care, the morning routine, and I have been doing it consistently for about 3 years now. And primarily that has consisted of gratitude, affirmations, some journaling. I was doing and still do some future biography exercises, some visualizations, and definitely a lot of reading from inspirational books. But today I want to talk a little bit about some of the more out there, quote unquote, practices that I do that I really love. I think if you are in tune to self-help, personal development, then you will know about mantras, journaling, visualization, things like that. But there may also be some things that you've heard about and you've been wanting to try, but maybe you're just not really sure about them. So as you are listening, you may be wondering what the heck it is you're about to hear. You may think it's a little odd or weird, or you may totally be on the same page. But whatever page you're on, wherever you are in this journey, I just want to bring it back as to why I'm even talking about this in a first place on a podcast that's dedicated to business and personal styling as an industry and helping you as a personal stylist grow your business. So you can probably agree with me that mindset does have the power to change the course of your day. If you can choose to be positive over negative, if you can choose to have a smile or a frown, and you make that positive choice, you do the smile, you will notice an immediate uptick in your outlook, how your mind is functioning, and how you're able to take on and handle challenges in your day. Harnessing your mindset is one of the most powerful business tools that you can ever use. And that's truly what I love about this topic, is because it's ever expanding. You will never completely, quote unquote, master your mindset. You will never not have to use these tools, because as you continue to grow, as you continue to develop and up level, if you will just have a new way to implement and use these tools in your life. My mentor, Susie Batiste, she is the founder of Poopery and Supernatural, which is all natural cleaning product, taught us a mantra in her course that says, "I am always expanding in love, joy, and abundance, and inspiring others to do the same." So this is a reminder that we are always expanding past what we thought that we couldn't overcome. And once we expand, we can never shrink back to where we were before pre-expansion. So if you can imagine like a balloon that you blow it up, and then just imagine that that balloon can never really shrink down again. It can only get bigger. It might shrink down a teeny tiny bit, but it's never going to shrink down to where it was before. It's always just kind of going to expand and expand and expand. And as you expand, you may actually be dealing with some of the same issues that you were dealing with a couple years ago. And you may think, man, I thought I was past this. But what's happened is you've expanded past that initial issue wherever you were in your life, and now you're facing that issue again, but it's on a larger scale. So you already have demonstrated you have the tools to get past it, and so now you have to get past it again on an even bigger scale, and then you might have to get past it again on an even larger scale. So this is why some people say that they have the fear of success, because you are forced to expand on a really large scale, and sometimes it feels a lot safer for us to just stay small, to stay this side hustler, to stay where we think it's safe for us to be financially or visually or on social media, because it can be scary to grow because it's forcing us to expand. So That is a little bit about why I love talking about this topic and why I'm so passionate about it. I don't really think you can separate business from personal growth and personal development. And I think when you can really, truly focus on those things within yourself, you become more in alignment with what it is you are meant to do. You get into that zone of genius area, and that helps your business expand. It does a lot of things for you. It does a lot of things we're going to talk about, like helping you with imposter syndrome, helping you not to compare yourself. And there are some previous episodes in this podcast about those as well. So you can tune into those if you want a little bit extra dose. But today, I want to get into some of the nuts and the bolts of exactly what I'm talking about, exactly what these practices are. And I'm not necessarily sharing everything that I do or everything that I've done, because I want to save a little bit for myself as a personal practice that I do. And then I may touch on some of those crazier things a little bit later. But the three things I want to share with you today are going to be: 1, tarot cards; 2, breath work; and 3, hypnotherapy. So some of these may be totally benign to you. You may be used to them. Other ones you may be like, ooh, what is that? So we're going to talk a little bit about each. So first things first, I want to talk about tarot cards. So I definitely grew up being told that tarot cards, energy work, things like horoscopes were not something that you wanted to mess with because you were pulling on quote unquote like evil spirits or demons, specifically say like Ouija boards and things like that. And I do believe definitely that you can kind of call up things that are maybe dangerous or things you don't want to mess with. And so you do want to be careful or mindful as you're doing these energy practices. But the way in which I use these cards is more of like a daily inspiration and something to attend to or work through in my life. So just as someone would read through a Bible verse or other religious scripture and resonate with those words on the page, apply them to their life, that's essentially what I do with these cards. What you do is you get a deck. There's so many different decks out there. I use the Wild Unknown deck by Kim Krans. That's the first deck I purchased. It's pretty popular. The drawings are beautiful. And you shuffle them like a deck of cards, and then you split them into 3. So you hold the deck in your hand, you'll split it into thirds, and then you stack the thirds on top. And then you typically pull from the top of the deck, and that is your daily inspiration card that you can use to touch into whatever it is you have going on in your life. So this year for 2020, I did a year spread, which gave me a overarching card and theme for the year of 2020, and then every month has a card as well. So I also do a monthly reading for things I should be in tune with, and then a daily card and just how it inspires me. And I really enjoy, I've started to do this more on a daily practice. I used to kind of just do it sporadically or through the week. And I have been pulling 3 cards in the Founders Club. And then I have been I started pulling a card, I think last week or 2 weeks ago on PSN for you guys as well, to kind of dip into that and see if you like it. So that is a practice that I do and have really enjoyed doing in terms of that kind of daily inspiration, kickstart my day off on a fun note. So the second thing I want to talk about is breath work. So this is something that is definitely gaining in popularity, especially if you are into personal development, you're into self-development. And I personally believe that when something gets brought up to you 3 or more times, you should pay attention to it. And breath work is this thing for me that has been a reoccurring theme and pattern that I have been tuned to, but also something that I have been resisting really hard. So essentially what breath work is that you are breathing and focusing on your breath for a period of time. There are different patterns and different types of breath work that you can do. And so what that is, it's a different pattern of inhalation and exhalation. So for example, you could do, I think it's like the 4-7-8 breath, where you inhale for the count of 4, you hold it at the top for 7, and then you release that exhale for a count of 8, and you can repeat that. There's also a breath work called holotropic breathing, which is a series of breathing in and out through the mouth only. You breathe in twice on your inhales and once on an exhale. So it's like that, and you repeat that for a series of time, whatever that time is to you. So a lot of people love breath work because it can help them work through things in their subconscious, whether you're bringing up something that is a traumatic experience and you're working through it, or you're looking to get a little more creativity from it. So one of the things and the reasons why I've been a little resistant to breath work is because I'm not quite sure what my subconscious is going to drag up. And so I have been hesitant to truly dive in deep, but every time I do it, and I will go through cycles with this. So sometimes I will have a week where I do a breathwork pattern that my therapist recommended to me, which is 3 deep breaths, 8 regular breaths for 10 minutes. I 100% feel different and shifted in my energy, where I feel calm and I feel peaceful and I feel present. I don't feel any of the previous anxiety or uncertainness that I have. And so just kind of like this settledness over me. So I love that as a daily practice or like a weekly practice that I do. And the other breathwork tools, I love to do them like weekly or monthly or something like that as an extra way to kind of tune in deep. Typically, if you do some breathwork practice for 10 minutes or more, that effects will last you for a couple hours throughout your day. So if you are anxious or have a lot of anxiety, breath work is scientifically proven. 3 deep breaths is scientifically proven to help lower your blood pressure, help lower that anxiety, even if you don't do it for any other reasons or diving into your subconscious. So if you're interested in doing more breath work, I would look up Samantha Skelly, that's Skelly in LA, or Jolene Dentremont, I believe it's Dentremont in Canada. I have done Jolene's guided breathwork class, and it was really amazing. It was done via Zoom. And if you want either of those people's information, you can send me a DM on Instagram and I will get that to you. Okay, let's talk about the last healing modality that we're going to talk about today, which is hypnotherapy. So I did my first guided hypnotherapy session a few months ago, and it was not at all like I expected it to go. I think when I hear hypnotherapy, I think of someone sitting in a chair and a practitioner sitting in front of them with like a pendulum that you're swinging and your eyes are following it and you're getting into this trance where you don't really know what you're doing. So that was not my experience at all with this hypnotherapy facilitator. He explained it to me as like a guided meditation that allows you to go into a relaxed state to talk to your subconscious and reprogram certain beliefs. I was also taught that hypnotherapy works best when you have a very particular issue that you are wanting to work through. So the way in which I like to use hypnotherapy is that if I am doing, say, my card pulling or my journaling, and I'm seeing that there's some sort of block in my life that's not in line, I can go in and do a hypnotherapy session around that particular issue, start to kind of ask my subconscious some questions as to why I'm having this block. Was there something in my past that contributed to it? And then I can work and do certain things through the meditation, through the hypnotherapy to reprogram those blocks so that I no longer have them. The reason hypnotherapy works really well is that it's almost like a subconscious hack that you can do to quickly reprogram your old beliefs, your old code into something new inside of your brain. And it works way quicker and faster than a traditional talk therapy process where you're still very aware. And I will say I was very aware in my whole hypnotherapy, but I was able to relax down into it and really talk to my subconscious like she was a person. Like I had this kind of blonde, long-haired person emerge. It was this kind of like badass, like rebel type, which is very different from how my personality currently shows up. And it was a very interesting experience to talk through. So for example, I talked to and worked through my issues around shame and guilt around my divorce, which happened last year in like the past 6 months. And almost immediately when I did that session, I kind of just shed all of those feelings that I had been feeling. And that's not to say that I don't still think about it or can get upset or can get triggered, but I no longer feel like it was my fault or that I was a failure or some big failure of my own. And so that's a very personal experience. But now What I'm also working on diving into is more things around business, whether I have limiting beliefs or blocks about certain things, or how I can expand into a greater capacity. And I can do that and make those shifts in my subconscious on a subconscious level, because there's something in there for me or for anyone else. If you're not experiencing what you want to experience in life, there's some sort of subconscious block that you need to reprogram, that you need to kind of jumpstart and program in a new belief in order to move past that and to expand past that. So what I really loved about my session as well is that he kind of encouraged me to do this session on my own. So I have done a hypnotherapy session on my own. I identified an area that I wanted to kind of work through, and I was able to dive down, go through the process, talk to my subconscious, rewire some things, and then come back out of it. So this is definitely an ongoing practice because you are tackling one thing at a time, but it is a really deep, really awesome way to move through specific things that you may feel like are blocking you or preventing you from seeing, success in your business or in relationships, or overcoming shame or trauma or anything like that. Can be really, really helpful for you. So if you are totally into these things that I've been talking about, there are a few other things that I want to drop on your radar because they are on my radar, and some of them I've done. Some of them I've done in a more abbreviated session, and some are things that I want to explore more and will continue to explore, because like I said, this isn't a one-time fixed or one-time healing modality. These are essentially tools in your toolbox that once you know how to do them, or you're aware of them, or you have someone you like working with, you can say, oh, I'm experiencing this. I really think this practice would be really helpful. Oh, I'm really anxious right now. I think doing a 2-minute breathwork session would really help that. Oh, I have a really triggering belief around money and debt. I think I need to do a hypnotherapy session. So that's essentially what these cards, or what these practices, do. So 3 practices that I want to dive deeper into is EFT tapping. So you can Google that. Tapping with Brad is a really popular Instagram, YouTube account. Essentially what it is you are tapping with your fingers acupressure points. So instead of doing acupuncture, you are tapping certain parts on your body. There are 7 parts in this cycle that you can do, and that has been known to calm anxiety as well. I also want to do and tap into some EMDR sessions. I've talked about this on Chic Stripes in one of my Instagram posts. It stands for eye movement desensitization. What does the R stand for? EMDR. Let me look it up for you guys. But essentially what it is a therapy session traditionally used in traumatic situations, and you are using eye movement to kind of almost like the hypnotherapy, kind of deconnect from the conscious brain and tap into the subconscious. And it is really effective. I have done a short 2-minute version of this to help calm anxiety, and it really immediately puts my mind into a really quiet state. So it stands for eye movement desensitization and reprocessing. So there is that reprocessing, reprogramming idea again. That is what a lot of these modalities are designed to do, is help you to quickly kind of biohack your subconscious in a way that other more traditional therapies would not allow you to do. And so the last one is somatic therapy. And so this is a type of body work therapy. I have not done this at all. I'm very new to it, but it is something that my mentor, again, Susie Batiste, really strongly believes in. And she has overcome a lot in her life: divorces, sexual abuse, marital abuse, bankruptcies, and she has built a very successful company by tuning into some of these modalities. And so she loves EMDR, hypnotherapy, and some somatic therapies. So that is one I haven't done, but I am going to be doing within the next several months. So my question to you is, if you have made it all the way to this end of the episode, congratulations. What did you think? Was this stuff totally new to you? Are you a little freaked out? Are you super into this stuff? What have you tried? What are you nervous to try? What do you want to try? Send me a DM at the Personal Stylist Network, and I would love to chat all of the woo things with you. So thank you so much for tuning into this week's episode. And if you are interested, the doors to the Founders Club are actually open all summer long for you so that you can get in. The Founders Club is an online membership community of personal stylists that gives you resources, templates, downloads, courses, coaching and access to industry experts on topics like capsule wardrobes or Instagram marketing, Pinterest marketing, virtual styling for your business so that you can either launch or grow or expand your personal styling business. So if you have questions, again, shoot me a DM. I will give you that information, or you can check out the link in the Instagram bio. And I will see y'all next week and hopefully in the club. See y'all then.